Gemini, this is your August 24 soul story. If you have a sun rising or your moon is in the sign, this is your reading. It's Romy here. Thank you so much for joining me on my channel. I appreciate you tuning in. So August is about doing things in your own way, at your own pace and in your own time. There's a lot of questions I think you are asking, and those questions are going to create space for the answers to flow in. So even if August doesn't immediately deliver that for you, you know, you can make peace with where you are when you contemplate, how can I improve this? How can I make it better? How can I make my experience more in alignment with what I want? Do I even know what I want? There's a freshness with the Ace of Pentacles that says something holds promise here. And yet August in Leo energy with your third house does indicate that there might need to be some short-term fixes, some temporary plans in order to support something in the here and the now, but with a clear idea of what is ahead. Now, we have your ruler Mercury going retrograde in Virgo on the 4th of the month. And, you know, Virgo season for you is going into the 4th house. So that retrograde might take you back over your working environment, your home environment, really seeking answers and trying to make sense of both past and present to come to the right conclusion about what comes next, right? As we said, in your own way, at your own pace, in your own time, there's, I think, a clarity that you do have regarding a bigger vision. The new moon in Leo on the 4th really strikes a chord and brings in some inspiration for you. And yet, I think that there's awareness, and August perhaps highlights this even more, of what it's going to take. Perhaps of the things that are holding you back or what has held you back. And, you know, how you go about seeking the support and the resources and the things that are going to enable that reality, that dream to manifest. Now, between the 4th and the 8th, of course, we're going to open up and work with Lionsgate. This beautiful portal helps us to embody, to integrate and to ascend. But what we're reminded of at that time is the ways in which we manifest, you know, the tools that we use, the practices that have worked for us in the past, perhaps the things we're no longer doing or doing a bit lackluster. And so it's a reset moment here. And, you know, you've got some really grounded earth energy that kind of wants to help bring in some sort of foundational piece for you to work with. Now, August is also delivering some more triggering and I would say just like annoying roadblock energy at times. Now, unlike a sort of eclipse season, it's almost like we can see what's ahead of us. It's blindsiding us. It's almost like we know the challenges we face. We know what's going on for us that's a little bit more tricky. Yeah, but what August can do as it gets the stimulation going and the inner contemplation that these retrogrades in your sign can really afford you is the thoughts around solutions, around plans, around improvements. And, you know, perhaps that's something that, you know, maybe has been a bit long overdue. You know, you might have been going 100 miles an hour, or you might have felt like at a total standstill. But regardless, there's something quite constructive about how you can work with August, especially in that Leo energy that wants you to set your sights higher. So around the portal of Lionsgate, make sure you're returning to things that have worked for you in the past, or seek out new things that you're yet to try. You know, is it quantum jumping? Is it law of assumption, law of attraction? Is it vision questing? Is it meditation? Is it, you know, visualization? What are the things that help to support you in creating and architecting your own reality? You know, this is what we begin with. Six of Pentacles says that there's an awareness that the energy exchange is off. You know, maybe they don't see things the way you do. That's okay, but there's a realization then that you either have to withdraw, redirect, or ask for more. The 6 tells me that the journey we're on, I mean, look, Ace 3, 6, we're making progress. It may not feel like that, especially in August. You know, you could have that scenario where you feel like you're going around in circles, and your mind is confusing you. And yet, you know, if we could almost like zone out and see the bigger picture, what we would really understand is actually it's quite monumental, the leaps that we're taking. But August is one of these times where it feels like a backward step before we take the leap forward. So keep that in mind. Now, Juno, asteroid goddess, is moving into Libra, the sign that it naturally rules. And here I just feel like we've got some karmic justice coming in. Something gets rebalanced in your world. Remember, Juno is ruling over partnerships, agreements, contracts, maybe anything legal that has gone on or is going on for you. And the 6 also indicates to me that, something might be making its way towards you, some support, some resources, maybe even some material abundance that was owed to you. And because we have this planetary backspin energy, it is highly likely that it could have been something from the past, maybe even something that you've long forgotten about, but now is back on the table, back being considered or presented in a way that should serve you, can help you, even if it's about extricating from an agreement, moving on from a contract, or improving a relationship or a partnership dynamic. Of course, we know retrograde brings that sort of challenge in terms of things feeling a little bit lost in translation. So we're definitely going to want to revisit the details when we station direct on the 28th. Okay, so keep that also firm and foremost in your minds. Now, as we approach mid-month, on the 14th, we've got Mars conjunct Jupiter in your sign, Gemini. It's going to be a big date for you. There's something sparking, motivating, really feeling like it's driving you forward. Queen of Wands, beautiful fire energy to work with here. Again, just keep in mind there will be things that might be happening where you feel a bit thwarted in terms of that progress. It's only going to serve to make you want it more. And remember, in 3rd house energy of Leo season, sometimes we have to make a short-term sacrifice or compromise in order for a longer-term gain down the line. Okay, so be at peace with that. All right, you are really aware that in order to see the progress of something, you also need to cultivate a degree of patience, okay? Because their timeline or the universe's timeline may not be your timeline. The Queen of Wands tells me that there's a frustration and a desire to want it and do it now, or to see it now, or, there's just that urgency, I think. And especially when on the 14th we have Mercury shifting retrograde in Leo, it could just mean that there's a bit of an intensity around emotions and how you're feeling. There's even the capacity for a little bit of drama to be unfolding. You might even feel that you've got some sort of female energy that is almost directing some sort of, I don't know, they feel a bit mad or angry, but maybe it's coming indirectly or passive aggressively with that retrograde coming through. Nonetheless, it's not something I think necessarily you can control. We have no way of really controlling how others perceive us, what they think about us, how they feel about us. And so this instance, it's kind of like a stay in your lane moment and a focus on what's being directed towards you and how you can help to materially improve your circumstances. Back to asking all of these questions, it really will be helpful. Even if you find yourself for the entirety of the month sitting in these bigger questions, the soulful goals that Leo helps to bring through and activate within us can spark something. Whenever air and fire get together, a spark is ignited, something combustible, something moves and changes and shifts and alchemizes. Now, between the 14th and our build up to the full moon on the 19th, we definitely have some tricky energies going on. There's a lot of squares happening in the astrological conversations, which can be pressure. It can feel like a trigger. And yet, how are you responding to it with the Ace of Swords? This might also come in with that Queen of Wands, not only because you get clarity on what you want and why you want it, but also if someone's coming at you, there's a truth and alignment and a response that sort of, gives you a sense of assertiveness, okay? But as we come against those, I feel, backed into a corner, remember we can also reveal the diamond when we feel a little bit under pressure. And what I've been saying through the soul stories of this month is that genuinely this can be a leverage and a bouncing off place. When we know what we don't want, it makes it super clear to us the things that matter and the things that we're striving towards and that we want to make space and time for, okay? And I know that a lot of people initially, when they listen through and they hear me saying there's these challenges, there's this, there's that, and it's like the first thing you hear. Sometimes you need to listen to this 2 and 3 times to get the true essence of what the energy is saying, because what I'm telling you is this is going to serve you. This is going to be good for you. You know, these are the moments in life when we feel up against it, we feel pressured, we feel we don't have a choice, or somehow, you know, we have to face something, that we get the breakthrough that we need. And that's what I really see in this full moon in Aquarius happening on the 19th. You know, we are able to access a solution, but only because it's like everything else has been exhausted, only because we're put in a position where we've got no choice but to get extremely open-minded and curious and unconventional in terms of what could happen and what could work. And, you know, we also have in and around that energy with Jupiter squaring Saturn, this deep desire for freedom, to break through, for expansion, for growth, at the same time as feeling that sense of duty and responsibility, the obligation and the sort of heaviness of that. So that push-pull contrast can also kind of put you in a place, yes, of rising frustration, but also of access to something that says, this is why I'm going to do it my way, at my pace, in my time. Okay? Around that moon, you also have to, Gemini, make peace with something that I think didn't happen. This is going to be the greatest gift in allowing your current experience to actually enrich and uplift you, to show you, to learn from something and to move on. Queen of Cups brings the compassion, the healing. You have to listen as well. The universe is trying to get you to listen here. And I think the more that you do, the more you're going to find things that will continue to kind of soothe and bring a sense of peace and restore you back. It's almost like you've got so fixated on something, you want something, you're not seeing the movement, the progress, or there's circumstances or energies around you that feel they're creating discord, that you've forgotten all of the things that you've learned, or all the things that you know in order how to self-soothe, how to regulate your own emotions, your nervous system. And that's going to really matter and be important, okay? You're incredibly in tune with yourself and with what is unfolding and moving on around you, if you would just give yourself permission to take that step back, okay? Now we've got that powerful ace in between these two queens, so a moment of truth, you know, does arrive at a point that feels a little bit fractious for me here. But remember, we've got a lot of progressive, collaborative energy that can actually tangibly deliver something here, okay? So it's not just a case of we're going around in circles and we're going nowhere. So even if, as I said, you come up against situations where people don't see things the way that you do, that's okay. It's an invitation for you to say, well, what do I need to do right now to bring about more peace for myself, okay? Are you going to let it stop you? Anything that is coming in to try to distract your energy? I don't think you are. And I think when you just give yourself permission to stop and realize that, then you can become unstoppable in terms of what it is that you're trying to achieve or attain. Now, as we move into Virgo energy, the sun shifts into the sign on the 22nd, Vesta. On the 24th, we've got Mercury stationing direct on the 28th. You know, all of this is coming into your 4th house. And so the details matter, the shifts and the changes that are taking place, communication starting to open up, ideas starting to be formulated. And I really think that, you know, that's where some of the answers are flowing towards you. This is a time where you are relearning, reinventing, and absolutely restarting. You know, the moment has come for you to just say, okay, enough. Like, what are all of the things that have been stopping me from doing this? You know, what are all the reasons I keep giving myself for why this isn't a good idea or is the wrong time, etc., etc. Because there's a sense of the sort of hand of fate stepping into your path right now and going, you know what, there's a solution to every single problem that you can come up with. There's an antidote to every single fear that you have activated at the moment. But you have to go on that quest and get curious and have the conversations with yourself. And then be open to listen to the answers, because they may not be what you want to hear and they may not be the things that you're expecting to hear. Okay? If you're new to the channel, our last 3 cards we cover in the extended version of my reading. You'll find that link in the comment and description box underneath. We'll also look at a personal question and a relationship card, Gemini. It's a way to support the channel. The investment makes a big difference for helping me show up to do the free readings, so I really appreciate those of you that can join me. I am going to go ahead and clarify this main reading. Another ace coming through for you, and we've got the energy of the star. These are going to show us the direction of that next reading. We've got 10 of Cups, 6 of Wands, Nice. Six of Pentacles, Six of Swords, Knight of Cups. Okay. Page of Pentacles, King of Wands. Nice cards, Gemini. Lovers. Chariot. Beautiful. Queen of Cups. Nine of Cups. You've got a lot of goodness to work with this month. I just want to make sure that you don't get so up in your head overthinking things that you don't see the value of what's right in front of you, especially because the frustration rises in terms of maybe you do see it or you can see the potential and you're just trying to make that happen now. You know, there's an urgency, there's an impatience. But I think that Mars conjunct Jupiter moment on the 14th is such a game changer for you. Pay attention to that date. Now this is Life Soul Vision, which is my own oracle deck. So if you're new, please do check out my website, romywiser.com. You will find my deck. You're also going to find my book over there, Moon Musings, Ways to Work with Me, my Sacred Soul Support. And this month, I've got a Lionsgate ritual. Please check that out for your new moon and your 8/8 circles and times of contemplation and intention setting. Okay. Vortex of Boundless Grace and Soothe Your Soul. Really nice sanctuary energy here, offering some respite. Golden Ribbons of Light, enlightened in the exhale. And there's our full moon, Soulful Surrender. Okay, we're going to pull one more card for Gemini for the month of August. Let's take a look. What do we have for you? We've got Wisdom Keeper, a new perspective, study and learning. Okay, great. Thank you so much for joining me, Gemini. We will carry this on in the extended. I will see you there. Take care. Have a great day.